Hi, my name is Nereide Santa Rosa. I'm a Brazilian writer and CEO of Underline Publishing, an American publishing company. I'm here today with 7 Brazilian authors to talk about their work and what inspires them. They are Beti Rozen and Peter Hayes, Ciça, Ribeiro,
Hi everybody. I'm here.
Cleo, Monteiro, Lobato,
Hello, everybody.
Geroge, Gimenes,
Hey, hi everyone. Ciao.
Isabel, Cintra,
Hello, everyone.
Paola, Giometti,
Hello, guys.
Renata, da Costa.
Hello everyone.
Now, they will answer a few questions.
My dear niece, Luma, inspired me. I always loved to play with kids, but I never thought if they love it back. And I just realized that happened while playing with her. One of our favorite pastime was to create stories. And one day something special happened. And in that moment, I said, well, I should write because then other kids can have so much fun as we are having. That's how everything started. It's incredible, but that was the way.
My name is Cleo Lobato, and I am translating to English and also adapting into Portuguese my great-grandfather's books. He was the first author of Brazilian literature and the most important one. And I decided to translate into English so we could promote Brazilian culture, folklore, and also the magic that happens when you read Monteiro Lobato. I think it translates amazingly well into English. And what inspired me was because I've been here 23 years and my son is bilingual, but I really wanted my whole American family to also read it in English.
Hi everyone. Again. Well, I always I have many grandchildren already, and it's always fun to communicate with them. And as I write poetry, that's my language for communicating on paper. I would like to create something different for children. And then I try to move. I love those books that rhymes, but I'd like to do something different than only writing a children's book with rhyming. And then this book that we're gonna talk more about, I decided to write in the cordel literature style. And first because it's something different. Normally, the cordel is normally target for an adult audience, and also children never experience that kind of literature, and that was inspired me, and a different way to communicate to the children, so they can have a zest, something different that they can enjoy and appreciate in our culture.
My inspirations can come from so many things, from my dreams, from my childhood time, speaking with my girls. I have 2 girls, and speaking with them sometimes about some children's book they have. It comes also some ideas, but I think mostly from my memories. A lot of memories in my family. I had my grandmother. She was from 1902. And then she had a lot of stories from the family. I had a romance. I started to write about this. But I think more memories, some fears, some dreams, beauty, nature. If I just go out to some walk, can come a lot of inspiration. I think when we like to write, if you like, you always will find some inspiration in everything you see, in every conversation, everywhere you go. For me, it's so simple like that, and I love it. It's inspiration, really. It's amazing.
Moments in my life has always been my source of inspiration, and I usually have a great immersion in forests, and today I also look for this inspiration in the mountains here in Norway. So I try to bring to the reader the emotion that these landscapes bring to me. And my characters explore the same landscapes, and all of my characters, whether wolves, dragons, or creatures from Nordic mythology, all have a bit of me. And even writing the book, for example, The Call of the Bison, was to talk a little bit about the difficult phase of my life during my choice to change relationships and country, because like bison, they migrate when the soil no longer offers what they need. And I also have a character who is a dragon, and he represents me in my teenage phase, when I lived in a place with no neighbors and far away from the world, as now. And I didn't know anything about modernity, relationships, or technology. I mean, when I was a teenager. But I had many dreams beyond that high wall between the forest where I lived in Brazil and my house. And my experience always brings new books.
My inspiration is my son. He gave me a lot of inspiration in my first and second book because my son is a special need. So I wrote about how to understand special need. So I put everything this in my books. It's the same for my son. My son is a writer too, so he told me to say his inspiration is me. So I inspire in my son, and he inspire in me in general.
Well, I decided to write about the power of imagination in creativity because children are very imaginative, and if they take the power in their hands, they can feel safe, calm, and confident because creating new worlds empowers them. And that's what happened with the character of the magical breeze of Clementine. And also, besides to tell about the power of imagination in creativity, I had in mind to create a story that a literate child could read it all by itself. I think that the empowerment that this child experiences is tremendous. That's what I thought about.
I'm a little bit in a different category because I've been adapting and translating, right, my great-grandfather's books. But it was a choice where to start. Because he wrote 22 books. But I decided to start from the first one, and it tells the beginning of the characters. And it takes the main character and her talking doll into this underwater kingdom, which is, again, it brings this amazing creativity, imaginary worlds, a whole bunch of amazing characters. And the most important thing is having, for me, in a children's book, was having beautiful, colorful illustrations. I worked with Rafael San in Recife from Brazil, and I live in California in the States. And he created the most amazing characters and scenery. And the theme is, I think, empowerment of the female characters.
First, I wrote for a contest about you have to write about immigrant, and I have an idea, and I wrote some story that got some award. But after I explained to Pira the idea, and we developed the book. Yeah, we can talk a little bit more. And we published without words in English. It was Portuguese, original idea for a contest in Boston. E after became a book. And after was published in Portuguese by Underline Sem Palavras. And it's about a Brazilian immigrant boy that was inspired a little bit about me, but also is a mix, it's fiction.
Yeah, it's a work of fiction. Part of, after Beti wrote an early draft of this book, I took a look at it and we started thinking about how we could really go further with this idea of using creativity to adapt to a new environment. But also, the other part of it that really inspired us was that what does it feel like when you move from one place to another and you really, really miss where you came from and live in a completely different environment? In this case, going from Brazil to the United States, and that yearning to be back in your country.
I also had an idea that the child is the storyteller. He draw 2 pictures. He created the story, and the Daniel Zulay did beautiful these things, but based in the he put himself in the role of a child drawing the story.
Okay, so my book talks about the secrets of light, but I think it didn't start from the light. It started with the rainbow. One day I was thinking about the rainbow, and I think every person, doesn't matter their age, the rainbow is a sight that always catches our attention. No matter, I guess, I remember being a boy, and even now I still get mesmerized by when we see a rainbow, even sometimes double rainbows, right, that we often see. And I started thinking about that and say, I'd like to write something about the rainbow. And with that thought, as I was developing, I thought, what does comprise the rainbow? And then I thought about the colors. And I was thinking, what about where those colors come from? And then came the light, and even before the light, there was no light. So it was kind of it started kind of backwards, so to speak. But the book doesn't stop on the rainbow. It has a little bit more, but that was the inspiration, the motivation to talk about things that connect to each other. It starts from something that there's nothing, and then behold, there's a beautiful something on the sky that everyone admires and enjoys the sight.
I grew up reading magical and incredible books, and I'm speaking about the fairy tales. And I think the fairy tales, they are unique stories, and each one of them brings them its own brilliance and charm. Whenever I read that books, I was thinking with myself, why I don't see black characters in these stories. And then I was imagining how beautiful they would be in case I could see in the stories. I was going to my bed and imagining how beautiful they could be if I could see them. Then from these beautiful child memories, I created each character from that time. Then from my childhood, I have all them in my mind. Now, when I grew up, was just move them to the paper and give to my brother, who illustrated my books, to create all them. I just show one page to see our idea. Then I'm speaking really about some children's dream. And I want to give it to the children of color the opportunity to see themselves in the stories, In addition, the aim of my books is to broaden the perspective of all children by fostering a child's sense of empathy and connection with characters who might look different than themselves. Then I strongly believe in the importance of representativeness in my children's book, and I am happy to know I am not an isolated writer by doing this work in this arena, because this is a healthy movement to the literature along the society as well. And I believe we all want to see an increase in representative in the books. I think this is not by being a writer of color, but I think for everyone. This is nice, this is good, and is a healthy movement.
I always took many street dogs, and they were found in a very bad condition. And I was realizing that they had a deep kind of relationship with me than dogs with a less traumatic background. So I also dreamed with wolves, and they had one kind of personality as my dogs. And in this dream I saw the cover of a book with a wolf looking at the mountains, looking at the mountains. And when I woke up I saw my dogs, and I understood that I had some control over the wolf's destiny, because I often say that our species, our kind, tamed the wolf. So it is our responsibility to take care of the dogs, as they are not wild animals, and that is our, in my opinion, that is our responsibility. As already said by Exupéry, I don't know if it's correct to say in this way, Exupéry, he said, we are responsible for what we captivate. So I thought I should write a book about it, so that people would reflect about their role in the destiny of the wolves.
When I decided to write my first book, because my son arrived from school and say nobody understand him because he's autistic, and I decided to write the first book trying to help him in the school for the kids and friends and teachers trying to learn how to understand about the autism. So this is why I wrote the first book about my son, for the people understand the autism. So the principal idea was to help my son. And I say, if this book is helping my son, so I can help more people. So I decided to publish and start to help more people. So usually the theme of my books is about the simple life for the autism. And the second book is about my son too, about his dream about take a bath in a tub. So it's a simple thing made a really big difference in my son's life. So this is the theme, is more simple stuff about autism and make everybody understand about this syndrome.
Expect that the readers, that you can transmit our messages. Usually we have messages about love, compassion, several books that we wrote, spirituality, and it's important that what you expect from the readers that they can interpret it the way that they, because people read books, they interpret it different ways. Even when I write poetry too, I have a book, bilingual book, Passamundo, the word goes on too. So it's a question about feeling. If the poetry, you feel different. Each person feel in different way when is feelings, né? And they rely these messages that they always try to write messages about how to be an immigrant too. Yeah, we have books connected with the immigration, but everything is more fiction, based in the Brazilian history or about Brazilian immigrant. You want to say?
Well, I would add to that I always hope that a reader is open-minded and wants to explore different subjects, but also certainly hope that since often the buyers of children's books are parents, that they will make sure they read to their children, especially in the early years of that child's life, for other things like computers and video games and stuff like that take a huge interest in a child's life. So it's very important, I think, that readers, parents, read to their children as much as they possibly can when the children are just at that point where they can begin to understand and follow a story, no matter how simple it is.
Yeah, create a new reader. They have books that fun, but they have a good message too.
Yes. Well, my goal as a children's book author is to invite a young reader to enter into the world of literature. I believe that if a child reads, for instance, my book, let me show them, The Magical Breeds of Clementine, all by himself, because he's a literate child, and I think that he can get the empowerment and start little by little to go ahead and do it by itself. And I think that the child that does that will be in the right direction to become an eager reader in the future. That's my goal, to empower those young readers.
So I desire, and I hope honestly, that my readers have fun, absolutely have fun reading. The stories that my great-grandfather wrote stimulate creativity, and they all take place in a ranch called the Yellow Woodpecker Ranch, in which there are no parents, only children and a grandmother and her friend. So the main thing is that I hope and desire is for the readers to enjoy themselves, have fun, develop the taste for reading a book, and also have this experience of the way you can play and learn without a computer, without your phone, without TV. The old-fashioned style that develops the mind, that develops your creativity, your power of imagination. Because the characters in the book, they come up with amazing adventures all the time. The girl, her doll, her cousin, and all the other amazing characters.
Well, I expected that the reader of my book, first he enjoyed the reading and even enjoyed the illustrations as well, and have fun, as I guess Cleo and even Ciça mentioned before, that they have that experience and have fun. And I think that's just the starting, actually, right? Because the book brings things and themes that a child, even a more mature reader, can ask questions. I hope that they'll be asking questions about what they read. Just don't take face value. Why is this there? Why this illustration is there? I mentioned something here, and there is a missing illustration about something. I'm not going to spoil, but I'd like the book kind of raise some curiosity in the reader, whatever age he or she is. And also, I believe many parents will be reading this book with their children, and I hope this will help their interaction, right? A parent to connect with his or her child, and that will kind of raise some interactions between them, and those questions that maybe the reader might have for himself or herself may ask the daddy or mommy. So what about that? Well, why? What that word, right? So, and I hope the reader will learn, they'll be having this kind of interactions and questioning and ask questions to himself, to herself, and to whoever is reading with them, maybe a grandpa, grandma, and there'll be lots of good memories on that experience.
I really hope my fairy tales, actually they are two. I have here The Great Little Tailor by Underline Publishing, and I have also the Princess and the Mirror. And I really hope my books, they can be like an incentive to break barriers and obstacles, to face obstacles. I think this is very important to propagate this idea that your dreams is the goal, your dreams is important, and you can reach them. This is my desire. This is what I hope. And it's very nice. I start now have some answers from UCA. It is very happy, and I received some answers. And I think I am in the path I wanted to be, because this is what the parents they write for me. Like, oh, so amazing! Like we see that character, and he's have so much courage. And at this moment as well, when sometimes the children, they see the parents a little bit sad at home. Of course, we are facing a very bad experience at this moment around the world. I think this kind of books, of children books, is nice to read and to feel encouraged by that. This is what I hope, really.
I hope I can take my readers to walk among the mountains and forests in a deeper way that makes them feel the details of nature. And when they have the opportunity to actually walk in the forest, they can notice the details that they didn't see before. I also hope to be able to bring wild animals closer to people, so that they reflect that both our species and animals face similar difficulties, and that we can learn many things with them, with the animals.
I wish I deserve in my books the people understand about the autism and do not judge friends, kids about the behavior, because I know how much judgment I received when my son had the behavior and I didn't know what's that, and right now I totally understand the behavior. So what I want is that people understand more about the autism, how simple it is, and do not judge. You know what I mean? Because I have a son with autism, and by the way, I am autistic too. And right now I understand when the people start judging my behavior, and I know it's without my control. So I'm trying to teach people how to understand us.
The books too here, because we didn't have a chance. Now we had inverted image. Now you have the right thing. This is without words, is sem palavras in English, without words, is sem palavras in Portuguese. And the book that I didn't have a chance, Passa Mundo, The World Goes On, is bilingual poetry. Both are by Underline Publishing. I like the message is a message for everybody that I think we have an important mission that is to develop, continue, make people look for books and for stories, and for the we are very we have, it's like a formation of minds, né? It's like it's so important our mission to. So it's important that you can transmit good values to the people, and you can create a new generation, a new planet with the new ideas, with the talk about the fraternity, about the compassion, with the values to our books, and the kids can enjoy with the fun things too. It's not boring. It's like that we have a book that is about to study history. It's so boring, but how can you study this? Né? You have one book that can be fun for study history too. And you want to say something?
Well, I think part of being a writer is to certainly encourage creativity and encourage people to think about the nature of our existence. So any story that someone reads should be an invitation to look at the world in a different way. It's a little bit like what Dr. Seuss said, I like looking at the world through the wrong end of the telescope. So it's a way about getting people to see and to reflect on certain moments about life in a way that maybe they hadn't thought about before, to appreciate who we are, where we're going, what are some of the challenges as well as the victories that we go through in life.
Yeah, is this why this book is good? Because talk about life, about fear, about everything that the human feelings that nowadays that all human beings this happen with the human being. This one is our lives in this planet.
Yeah, and this, our book Without Words is very much a story about not living in the past, for instance. So one of the things any of us could be think about or be thankful for is that we should appreciate the here and now and not live in the past or worry about the future. Simply to move through life as we experience it.
I would like to tell everybody to try to create stories with your children, as I did with my Miss Luma, right over there. Because you have a lot of fun. And perhaps you'll become a writer too. Who knows?
Final words. So, we have The Adventures of Narizinho, Book 1, already in English. And I think in about a month's time, we'll have book number 2 in English, which will be called Yellow Woodpecker Ranch. And what I would like to say is that it's very important in the world nowadays to come up with new perspectives and new ideas for the problems we have, the situations we encounter. And these books by my great-grandfather are amazingly relevant, and until today, he puts the children in situations and talks about situations, and the children come up with different solutions to problems that are in our daily life till today. So this creativity and thinking outside the box is something I would highly recommend. And those are my final words. Thank you, Nereide.
First, I would like to thank you, my colleagues here. It's been a thrill to be with you, participate of this live. And I'd like to thank everyone that is watching. And I'd like to ask for your support, for being here with us. And I'd like to ask your support, really, by buying our books. So I'm sure you guys will be really thrilled with each of those authors here. And let me just show mine. Please, we would really appreciate your support, and we'll also appreciate your feedback. So give us your feedback, what you like, what you didn't like, what make you that thing thick that popped in the book, or something, or even new themes, right? New ideas, as we mentioned here. We're looking for ideas, some inspiration, sometimes a word, a phrase that you guys give us kind of clicks something in our brains, and then we may come up with something different. So thank you very much. It's been really a pleasure being here with you. And thank you, Nereide and the Underline Publishing for allowing, and the Bologna Children's Book Fair for that.
Now it's time to say really thank you. And by seeing behind you, Nereide, I can see the Bologna Children's Book Fair. And then we thank you by having this opportunity to speak about my books, about my work. Was a dream, really being here. And I want to give the final words from my fairy tales that just never forget. There is nothing that can stop children to reach the stars. I think this is the most, I believe, I think is what I want to pass for who read in my books. This is my important message. And of course, if you have time, please, you can know more about my work. I have more books about representation in my website, isabelcintra.com. And I will be happy if you can send a message for me, I will reply. Thank you very much.
If you like mountains, landscape, wolves, adventure, and fantasy with a hint of mysticism, you like The Destiny of the Wolves from Underline Publishing. This book is from the Tales of Earth series, which is available in Amazon. And to learn more about my work, I invite you to follow my Instagram, which is Paola Giometti. On Google, through the search bar, you can also find lots of information about my other books. Thanks for having me, thanks for watching me, and I would like to thank Nereide to support me and the Bologna Children's Book Fair too.
I just want to be thank you for this opportunity to participate in this book fair, and I just want to show the books. My Little Big Road is about my son. My second one is the Bath in a Tub, and my son book it's about I Love You Mama. So all books is available on Amazon. So if everyone or someone wanna follow me, my Instagram it's at Renata the Costa official. So I will more than happy to answer any question about my books, about the autism, and I'm totally open to help each one. And I just want to let everybody know the autism didn't give us disability. It's not our disability. Autism is my ability. So it's my ability and my son's ability. So these didn't stop me. It didn't stop my son. My son is just 11 years old, and he just got the award for the best Brazilian writer in the United States. So it didn't stop us and never will stop. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you so much for all. I hope you enjoyed our presentation. And now, bye everybody.